Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing? We are here. We're back. Second week back after our break. How are you feeling?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Still breathing.
Well, you've got a busy week ahead because you've got some great news, haven't you?
I have. And we were just talking about this off air before we came in. So, yes, today I am launching, producing, and presenting my brand new radio show, The Messy Middle.
Hello.
After this, I'm rushing in the car to get to the studio. Hey.
Ah, you're doing it in the studio?
Off to the studio straight after this.
Amazing. Right.
All feels a bit surreal, if I'm honest.
Well deserved, and congratulations. Hi, Rochelle. Rochelle's coming in and she's making sure everything's connected and stuff and everything else, and it's been shared. And
have you shared it to YouTube already?
No.
1 sec, it might kick me out then.
It's okay. We'll wait for you. Whilst Rochelle is sorting herself out, we'll tell you what we're talking about today. So we've started to sort of like have meetings before these sessions because we're like, what can we talk about? And the topic today is ghosting and blocking and not having those uncomfortable conversations.
I love that we're talking about this today. Love that we're talking about this.
Why do you love that we're talking about it? I'm intrigued.
Because it is something that I would have done up until even a couple of years ago. Ghosted, not had the uncomfortable conversation, blocked somebody, unfriended them, all those different things. Because that's just who I was. I just couldn't face the reality of the uncomfortable conversation. And I absolutely blooming love it now. And the reason I love when you sent the message saying this is what we're going to talk about today, I was with a friend at the weekend and this exact topic came up. And she was in one camp and I was in the other camp. And she actually sent me a message afterwards and thanked me that I have got her to think differently.
That's amazing.
So yeah, I'm very excited for this conversation today because I think so many people don't actually think about the outcome. They just in the moment do the thing. So I think it's a really great conversation to have, to get people to pause and think about what is their reaction and why do they do it? And actually, what does it long term, what does that prevent them from doing?
So in your opinion, what does it prevent them from doing?
I truly believe from my experience that when we block, unfriend, ghost, first of all, we don't give that other person the opportunity to understand why we've just vanished.
Yeah.
And I'm not an overthinker anymore. I am a reformed overthinker who would, if somebody ghosted me, blocked me, unfriended me, I would have laid awake at night thinking about that. What have I done wrong? What could I have done differently? So I think we don't give that other person the opportunity to understand, to grow. But also what we're doing is we're just being a little child that's running away or putting our finger in our ears because we just don't want to deal with the reality of what that conversation might actually open up. And I think that what it gives us is growth, healing, development. It's helped me massively. I struggled with rejection for decades and I no longer struggle with that. And I think part of that is because I do have the uncomfortable conversations. I don't ghost, I don't block, I don't unfriend anymore. I just move forwards. And I think not enough people do that, and it then shows up in every other relationship, whether it's their, intimate relationship, sexual relationship, familial relationship, business relationship. It shows up everywhere in their life. So facing it is a far, far better way to grow and to heal.
Hello.
I'm an advocate for the uncomfortable conversations.
We are now live on YouTube.
Yay!
Hello.
We're on live, so it's okay. We've got I'm also streaming on some other bits as well. So what we can do is we can just update that because if we've missed anything out, if we want to be a bit finicky. But yeah, thanks, Rochelle.
You're welcome.
Amazing.
Rochelle, we're talking about ghosting, blocking, and not having uncomfortable conversations.
Amazing.
What's your viewpoint?
Oh, you want to know my viewpoint? Well, uncomfortable conversations, very uncomfortable. So I understand why people avoid them. And I come from a family of people who are very good at avoiding uncomfortable conversations. So it's something that I'm myself not very good at. So I think so me and Victoria will often have this discussion because you I don't know how much you've said already on the other live, but I know you're very much like you don't get ghosting. Ghosting's not a thing that you understand, but I can see how why people do get the big feelings inside. It's not just a case of going, oh, I don't feel like talking to that person. It's much deeper than that. It's a real uncomfortableness that I can understand why people, when you've not got an answer for something. So if you ask me a question and I don't know the answer and it's not a simple yes or no, that can make me feel really uncomfortable, and then I panic and I go back when I think about it, and then before you know, life gets in the way and you forget that question's even being asked. So I don't think it's always intentional.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. I think here's another thing that we have to be very mindful of in this day and age. And I was just talking to my EA about this before I came on this call, was that we as business owners and as business owners who have social media platforms, we have messages coming in every single form every day. WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, text message, voice note, Gmail, email, everywhere. And I'm sure some people probably think I've ghosted them over the years. I haven't. I've just, maybe their messages just slipped through the net and they sent that one message that they were again, their fear of rejection, that they didn't get the response. They then think they've been ghosted. So I think we need to be mindful that there's a difference between intentional ghosting, blocking, unfriending, to actually, we all have pretty busy lives where we are just juggling so many tasks, so many platforms, so many different forms of communication, that sometimes we're not ghosting, we're just being a human being that missed an email.
Yeah, and as your business grows and you've got a bigger following and there's more and more people demanding attention and asking you questions, sometimes the capacity, you just you're full, there is no capacity to reply.
I heard Frankie James, who, as you know, is the founder of Ideas Fest. I heard her say last week on one of her social platforms, she in one day had over 900 messages across all her platforms. Her team don't respond, she responds, and it's like, my God, I can barely respond to 90 a day across platforms, let alone 900. But yeah, I mean, that's completely aside to ghosting. But I think what I'm saying is we have to be mindful that people are busy, and one unanswered message does not mean you're being ghosted. It means that maybe somebody's got other stuff going on in their life.
Yeah. Naomi, can you see us okay? Are we freezing or are we moving?
No,
okay?
You're absolutely perfect. Can you see me okay?
Yeah,
I'm fine.
Okay, cool. So it's just me then. So it must be my system. It's all right. And so it's I feel it's a bit choppy, but I think it's just my system. But if you guys are okay, then that's all that matters. Yeah, do you know what? Everybody has a shadow. My shadow is, I could happily sit there and block so many people. I could literally in my shadow. It's almost like when I do it, I'm like, it's almost like the release of, oh my God, thank God I've done it. So I don't do it anymore because it's obviously connected to a level of anger. You know, if you're blocking somebody or doing, it means that you've done something that I don't agree with and stuff. So I'm angry. or you're not connecting to my level of values, which I'm fed up of hearing about because flaming heck. But you know what I mean. And so it's like there's definitely a piece of anger there, and it's really funny because when people unfriend me, or I don't know if anybody's blocked me. To be honest with you, there are certain people who energetically I've felt the disconnection when it's happened. Like I've literally felt something, and I've gone and looked, and I've gone, oh, and I know straight away. But again, that's my job to know who's unfriended or who's unfollowed or whatever. But what's so funny is, I believe that if you've got the time to go and block somebody and unfriend somebody, then you've not got enough to do. And when I see them in public, it's always fun because I never, ever, 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 ever bring it up, and I'm always very cordial.
Yeah.
Because to me, there is nobody important enough in life, and I mean this generally, there is nobody important enough that I know who would stop me from saying hello to them. There's nobody just worth it. Not one human being. I will always say hello to you. I'll ask you how you are. Now, you may decide and walk away, and you may go, oh, I don't want to talk to you, blah, blah. And I'm like, fair enough. But I'll always, always, always talk to you because I just haven't got time for it. I'm too busy. My natural instinct is to say hello, give you a hug, blah, blah. I ain't got time to go. I just haven't. And I think that's also made me not do it as much. But also I don't believe in ghosting. Like for me, if I'm ghosting you, I don't think I'll even ghost. I've had a friend once who I walked away from, and I actually messaged her and said, we can no longer be friends. And I just went, we can no longer be friends. And she knew why.
You might get one of them messages one day, Naomi.
You and I'll start up our own separate WhatsApp chat.
but I don't believe in just like ghosting. Romantic situations I have ghosted when I've gone, this isn't working, and they don't understand the meaning of no, then I've walked away. But then again, I don't know you from Adam, so that doesn't really count. But in general, it's not. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. But it is a secret joy just to ghost, because if I forgot, imagine there'd be nobody in my life.
Can I come back to what you just said there, Victoria? Because I think that's really important about like ghosting in a romantic sense. Because actually, this was the conversation. Like I said to you, I was so excited when we were talking about this today because this was the conversation that I had with a friend at the weekend.
Yeah.
And who a romantic, situation, or should we call it a situationship, which I think they're now called.
Yeah.
A situationship has gone south, has gone stale. And her thought process was to block him across all platforms.
Okay.
Because of not being able to handle the seeing of him anywhere, in the online space.
Okay.
Now I gave her a different viewpoint.
Okay.
I have also had this situation over the last however many years of connecting, having a situationship, a relationship, whatever it might be, dates with a guy. The next thing is they're requesting you across every single one of your platforms that you're on. And I have not blocked, unfriended, or anything when that situationship, relationship, whatever has ended.
Okay.
Because it has helped me to heal from rejection.
Okay.
And face things differently. And this was my, I didn't give her advice. I just said, listen, I'd like you to just hear my viewpoint on this. And at the end, she was like, do you know what? I think you're absolutely right. I think it would help me to just actually sit in the feelings, sit in the emotions. We are, as a population, we are so against discomfort of any kind. We will eat the food because, we don't want to be alone in our feelings. We will drink the alcohol because we're stressed. We will do all these things rather than face the discomfort. But actually, the freedom is in the discomfort.
Okay. So Yeah, I hear. Listen, I completely agree. It's like sometimes you need to run with it. I think in the case where I have blocked in a romantic situation, it's that when somebody doesn't want to understand the word no,
Yeah.
I haven't got the time to keep on repeating the same thing over and over again. Now, I don't mind if we stay friends on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and we don't talk to each other because there's nothing else to talk about. I'm not going to go, but I will block you if you insist on still calling and I have to keep on repeating the same thing, which is no, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Upon that case, then you get blocked indefinitely across, and it is the most satisfying feeling because seriously, it's literally that shadow and stuff of you where you go, you know, when there's something around alchemy where they say when they see the true shadow of you, you look like a maniac, right? It's I love it. It's just I just go like literally I just yeah, I ain't got time for it. To me, it's also valuing my time, and it's also, in my opinion, self-love. Like I value my time enough where I don't feel like I need to keep on repeating the same thing over and over and over again. Um, but I also get as well that sometimes, say for example, if you're more in love with that person, or or say you've caught feelings. Let me hit with the
You
kids.
say court feelings like a cold, like a
Yeah.
cold.
No, caught feelings. You catch feelings. Yeah, like a cold. Yeah, literally. But if you catch feelings with somebody, and maybe they don't feel the same way, I can get somebody's point of view of going, I don't want to see this person anymore and stuff. And because here's the thing, and this is why I believe people block people in general and unfriend, is that seeing that person's face come up all the time creates a trigger.
Yeah.
And people can't cope with it. A lot of people, so I kind of understand it. But I haven't felt that way about somebody in centuries. So again, there's nobody worth me doing that for. But I do get it. I do get that sometimes you have to protect your own space to move on. But then again, I'm like, if you're going to protect your space, be honest about protecting your space, which means no sneaking and having a look and seeing what they're up to and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And so it's like, if you're going to do it, do it. But also acknowledge as well that it is a part of numbing as well. You're numbing and you're avoiding maybe something that could happen. So I hear that.
You reminded me of a guy I did have to block because it was relentless, and I was like, I have told you that this is not happening, like, so you need to leave me alone. And he just kept going and going. I think that's an interesting thing. But yeah, Rob, I think I only blocked him on one platform, and then he came around the back and went messaged me on something, and I'm like, oh. So I think I just muted him and ignored him.
He found another door.
He soon gave up, thankfully. But yeah, I think you mentioned something, Victoria, about like when you walk into a room and you see someone that might have blocked you or might have unfriended you, and that awkwardness. And I think that's something that, like I always say, we are in such a small world. You never know when you're going to bump into that person. And I think you can block someone on the online world, but you can't stop someone walking into the same Tesco as you or from going to the same networking event as you. So while like the thought of seeing some certain people like at a networking event fills me with dread, like, you know that it's not impossible that it's gonna happen. We are in such a ridiculously small world that you will come across those people. So I think we are best dealing with it as adults, as grown-ups. And yeah, you might not agree with everything that person's saying, and you might unfollow them, you might even unfriend them, but I'm like, is it necessary to block someone unless they are being awful like, obviously if they're being horrible to you and they're saying horrible things online, and I'd definitely say block them. That's what the block button's there for. But if they're just posting things that you're like, oh, I don't agree with their opinion, I don't think that necessarily warrants getting blocked.
Yeah, there's that whole thing as well where people go, well, if you don't believe in this, unfollow me. If you voted this, you're blocked. I'm like, people have too much time in their hands, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm nearing 5,000 friends, so I am in. Oh, it is a bit of a sweet spot because I'm like, oh, I'm getting to 5,000 friends. So who do I want to remove? And if I'm honest, I'm removing a lot of family and people that I haven't spoken to in years. It still feels good though because I'm going remove, and I'm unfriendly because I'm like, this is now a business account, so I'd rather have clients in here or people. You know what I mean? Like it's not an account where. I mean, if I took my mum out, she'd have words. But if I could, I would. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm like, you're not a client and stuff. So I'm at that stage. But it's a lot of work going through and going. I'm going to delete that person. I just think.
I can't believe you delete Mum.
And I'm sorry, but I am the person that will probably put up a post and say, hey, if anybody wants to leave the room, you're welcome to. Because the amount of times I've got to that 5,000 and I can't accept new friends.
Yeah.
And you know what? I haven't got the time, energy, or inclination to go through the list and go, oh, I'm like, you know what? If you want to leave, head off.
Yeah, it's too much work.
Yeah.
I've done it with my email list.
Oh, I unsubscribed at the weekend from so many email lists, and I have to say, I literally was like, felt like I could breathe again.
Yeah,
didn't block them, just unsubscribed. I was like, I don't need that. I don't need that every single day, every single week. I don't need that anymore. Don't need that. Quite liberating.
Yeah. I think when it comes to I think when it comes to the blocking, I also think that those difficult conversations can be had as well. But so it's really funny. I've been wanting to do a post and I'm still going to do it. We all believe we're right.
I'm always right.
Yeah. We all believe we are right. So we've done enough work in our own space individually where we believe that we are right. And the truth of the matter is, there's always three versions of the truth, right? So when we make a decision and go, well, that person is wrong, even if you have those conversations, which I would encourage, it's also good to just be old enough and ugly enough to just know that that's your perspective of a situation rather than the truth.
Yeah.
And I believe that people would be a lot happier and would have more enjoyable conversations and create a better community if they just understood that. At the moment, all I'm hearing, I'm coming from an online space now, and actually, even offline, you hear people go, well, I'm right, you're wrong, end of, we're not friends. And it's like, no. I'm as qualified to make a decision just as you are.
Yeah, I think it comes. That I think I said this recently on one of our shows. How it's now come to light that two children growing up in the same household or multiple have not had the same childhood.
Yes,
and I think it's the same thing, isn't it? That we all perceive things differently. Our experience is different. And we need to be mindful of that, just because we think we're right, it doesn't mean that person doesn't have a different viewpoint to us.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what we were speaking about. I think we talked about it last week, about the values and what those things mean to us, and that, like, you think that this happened and you think that's because of this, but that doesn't sit with that person. That's not how they experience it. That's not their interpretation of that same value or same event that went on. So I could say the exact same thing to both of you right now, and one of you could take offense from it, and one of you could be like, oh yeah, no, that's not offensive, that's just your opinion. And we all have different takes on things. It's like comedians. Some people will find a comedian hilarious, and other people think they are the least funny person ever. And I think we often see that on social media with such extremes of opinions on the exact same thing. And I just believe you can't please all of the people all of the time. So you've just got to do what's right for you.
Yeah, I agree. So here's a thought, actually, because again, like I say, the shadow part of me can walk away and never talk to you again. I'll be just like, I'm done. Like, I'm done. I also feel though that there is a grieving of walking away.
Yeah.
There's a huge amount of grieving. And it's really funny because I have a friend of mine, and love her to bits, still love her to bits, and we never fell out, but I was in a stage in my business where I just didn't have the capacity to be the friend she needed me to be. I just couldn't. There was just too much going on, and all I said was that we couldn't speak as often as we did. I can honestly say that I watched the different stage of grief with her, because whilst it wasn't like we're not friends anymore, that was never the case. Now we hardly speak. We've gone from speaking so frequently to like nothing. And I know, and the reason why I never retaliated was because I know how much that hurt her. It was not deliberate, but when you don't understand the context of, it's not even blocking, it's just stepping back, trying to understand that. And like Naomi, you said about being an overthinker and thinking, well, what did I do? Could I have done something differently? Why, why would she be at events when she hasn't got time to speak to me? It's like, well, this is business. This is not, how are you? How was your day kind of thing. And the grief that people go through, and I've had to learn. It's another reason why I won't let it affect me if I meet somebody in public who's stepped away, because I'm like, I know what you've gone through. I get it. I get the grief that you've gone through, even if it's just anger, even if it's slagging me off to somebody else. Does that make sense? And so I know it comes from a place of hurt. And the truth of the matter is, human beings are human beings, and when we don't get what we want, or we, especially in relationships, there is an element of hurt that can sprout a huge number of behaviors, including blocking, ghosting, not having those conversations, and whatever.
Yeah, I think that's right. Grief, like I don't fall out with many people, probably because I don't like the uncomfortable conversations. So I'd just rather be friends with you forever and not tell you that you've done anything wrong, because that's awkward. But people that I have like either fallen out with or distanced myself from, it's definitely been like a grieving process of like what you once had. And I feel like in my life I've definitely let a lot of friendships unintentionally go because of how busy you become in life, and how like we know, as whether it's in business or before business, like we've known a lot of people in our lives, like people we've gone to school with. Like I've got a massive family. There are so many people in this world that I love that I don't have time to show that love to, because there's only so many hours in the day, and when you've got everything else that's going on, those friendships do slip. But I think the ones that you really like, those friendships, like my two closest friends or my two closest friends throughout school, I've known since I was 3 and 7. Sometimes we'll go for like maybe a year without speaking properly, and then we'll get together and it's like we saw each other yesterday, and we'll always have that friendship where we're more like family. The same with my cousins. Like often some of my cousins I see more regularly, and other cousins I don't see unless it's like a funeral or a wedding. But when you do get together, it's like no time has passed at all, and you're always going to have those things in common.
Yeah.
Completely agree. I had a 2.5-hour FaceTime on Sunday evening with Victoria's face.
Well, like you've never been on the phone for 2.5 hours, Victoria.
I know, but Naomi that we're talking to, Naomi's in her space phase and stuff. It's like, I'm shocked.
Right, listen, we all know about our Class A, Class B, Class C,
yes.
Grade A, Grade B, Grade C friends, whatever you want to call it. And Kelly is such a good friend of mine. She lives in New York. We met in 2009 in our corporate careers. We shouldn't be friends on paper. We do not we are, you know, we are not like aligned to be friends. We are so polar opposite in every single way you can imagine. But in 2009, we just absolutely connected on this business trip, and we've had this transatlantic friendship ever since. And we have, you know, we have like been on trips to Vegas together, Paris. She's been over to London. I've been to New York, various different things. But we have this similar relationship, Rochelle, where we can sometimes go weeks, maybe even months, or forward the odd reel from Instagram or the odd like WhatsApp message or whatever. But we're not really in each other's lives. We don't really know what's going on. And then every couple of months, sometimes even 6 months, whatever it might be, one of us will message and say, FaceTime, we need to FaceTime soon. And we set it up and we put it in the calendar, and we always put in 3 hours, because the minimum we've ever done is 2.5 hour average. We have actually gone to 4 hours before. But if you put that in a friendship over like years, it's probably just like having a cup of tea or a 20-minute chat. It's just that we tend to condense it and just have this absolute massive conversation. Which I love.
No,
I think that's more meaningful though. It's like my friend Amo, I don't think I've never mentioned Amo on here and stuff, but Amo and I have been friends since we were 6, and she lives in the States, I live here. We're really good friends. Like, you know, we've known each other. We're in our 50s now, right? So we've known each other, whatever it is, 53 minus 6. We've known each other for a long time. But what's so interesting is we always speak to each other on a Sunday, and it's not every Sunday, but we could go, I would say, 3 months and not speak to each other, and then there's a message, and then we get on, and we don't even do FaceTime. We just get on WhatsApp and just have a proper good old natter. I don't know where she lives. I don't know. I kind of know bits and bobs around her life and stuff, but I don't know everything. And we just put the world to rights from our perspective as 2 women who are single, never had children. You know, we've known each other for years. We know a lot of people from our youth and stuff. And we just have a really good old natter. And she's one of the few people from that long ago that I really connect with, if that makes sense. And it's so funny because we were at boarding school together as well. We went to the same boarding school, which was just by chance. But she's still friends with some of those other people. So she goes out with them and she goes, "Oh, Kitio says hello." I'm like, "Oh my God, say hello." But me and Kitio will never get on the phone and chat. Like, there's no need for us to. That's not, we don't have that sort of friendship, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think there's just different dynamics to life, isn't there, and stuff. And also, and I'm somebody who I'll know till the end of my days, if that makes sense and stuff. So that we've gone through all sorts with each other and what have you. And it's just,
yeah, I think it's that transition from where someone goes from just being a friend to being like they are practically family, because you've got so many shared experiences and you know the same people. And that's what me and my friends are like, similar in a similar way, where they're still in contact with certain people and I'm in contact with certain people. And it's just like, you're just like, how's everyone doing? Like a big collective, like wanting to, like, I think that's one of the reasons I do love social media, because I can't keep in touch with everybody, but I can see. I remember I bumped into someone who I went to uni with a couple of years ago now, and she was like, "Oh, how are your kids?" Like, I'd not seen her for probably 15 years, but she knew that I'd got children. I knew that she'd got children. I knew she'd got married. We knew each other's life story, and then it's just almost like you just then catch it, like just catching up on what's happened yesterday rather than what happened 15 years ago.
Yeah, I love social media for that too. What's the timer?
I just got a message. Dylan slapped Maisie's light and it fell down. I have 4 kids running around my house.
That's very true. I keep forgetting that is half term. That's so funny.
Why does everybody keep calling it a half term? It's summer holidays.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's Victoria that calls it that, I think.
It's full term.
Yeah. This is the
second time today somebody said to me half term. I'm like, it's not half term. Even I know that. It's school holidays.
Well, kids don't know what it is. We just know that kids aren't at school. That's all we know.
Did you see the face in the door?
No.
They what?
The face. Oh, you
I
can't-
can't see. They're
Oh,
just
you can't see it
out
on
of
the
frame.
screen.
Just out of frame. Oh, now I can see.
Ah,
Me.
that was a really good topic and stuff. And I think, I think the lesson in there is, before you walk away from somebody, just think, and think again, and check your emotions. Don't do stuff from anger. It never works out.
Yeah. Let
Yeah.
your triggers be your teachers.
There you go. Let your triggers be your
Or they
teacher.
will
Yeah.
they will keep coming up in different relationships, in different forms, in different scenarios. So face them head on.
Yeah, and I think you can just be the best person you can be for you and to other people, and people take that how they want to take it.
Agreed.
Oh, thank you so much, ladies. And Naomi, all the best on your first show.
Thank you.
We look forward to hearing it and stuff. And and you can tell us all about it next week as well.
Oh, I will. Amazing.
Exciting. Good luck.
See you later. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.